Welcome everybody
to your Destiny folder.
Welcome everybody to episode 86 of the Destiny Digest podcast. That's right. We're in your podcast folders. We're out here. We're out here
I hope
hanging out with Destiny 2. Thank you so much to everybody for coming and hanging out with us live here on Twitch, twitch.tv/Destiny Digest on this Sunday evening at 6 p.m. Eastern. That was a sly way of telling people, hey, that's when we're live and stuff. Anyways, around the panel this evening, thank you. If I'm nothing else, I'm subtle. Around
I have a t-shirt that says anything but subtle, anything but, and it has a picture of the subtle calamity. I know.
Hell yeah.
Oh God.
Good stuff. Plug that merch.
Oh, I'm sorry.
No. That's what this is here for, dude. Like, we're here to promote everybody here. Speaking of everybody here,
go to my store.
Let's check out. So we have Sami Cat here. Sami, say hello to the fine folks on the internet.
Hi. What's up, guys?
We have Eseipha.
Hey. That was not as suave as Sami, but you know what? That's fine.
We have Bona.
Hi.
And we have Epic Dan. Probably the better of the two Dans here today.
Oh, no. But hi.
Hi.
Definitely got a deeper voice.
Yeah.
That's true.
I think I had the most lively high.
You did have a good high.
We started very high, and by the time we got to me, it was just very low.
I haven't tried it yet. Hold on.
And we also have Danfinity. Say hi, Dan.
Hello.
Eh,
This is
doesn't hit
yeah,
the same
okay.
way.
We're getting there.
We're getting there. We're slowly getting there.
We'll work on that.
We're
You
slowly
didn't say
getting there.
hello. You didn't say hi.
Hi.
Oh
I
shit.
tried to make it. I tried to make it airy there at the end. Tried to make it airy there at the end, just so that everybody could feel that breath. Anyways, welcome in. We're here to talk about Destiny 2, the whole thing.
Are we sure?
Yeah,
I don't know about that one.
Well, before we do, like, so what have you guys been doing this week? What have you guys been playing? I know Sami and Epic Dan, this is your first appearance back after the new year. How was your holiday? How was the time off? Start with Sami.
I'm gonna move past how the holiday
Heard?
time off was.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I have recently, the past half a week or so, been absolutely addicted to and enjoying Kena Bridge of Spirits.
Oh,
the
heck yeah.
game. And I'm playing it on master difficulty
Okay.
because a friend was like, you should play it on master difficulty.
Mm-hmm.
Basically saying that it was no issue whatsoever. And previously he was like, you get the bow in like 30 minutes. Well, 7.5 hours later, I finally got the bow. And it is so hard on master. Highly recommend the game. Do not recommend playing it on master first, but I love it. I absolutely love it.
That's the one that has, it's like, it kind of looks like Kubo a little bit, and it has the Pikmin, the Pikmin-like mechanics to it, where you're collecting little guys, and the little guys go and do stuff for you.
So it's that. It's also has puzzles, and it's highly inspired by Legend of Zelda.
Okay.
Puzzles with exploring, and then the combat is Souls-like, which is really, really good.
That's cool.
It's really, really hard if you do it on master.
Your first time
Great
through.
accessibility.
Mhm.
Yeah. I think it got Game Award for Best Accessibility or something. And Best Indie. I can't recommend it enough. I have so far gotten 7 people to purchase or download it and start it. I am very proud of that.
It's a good game.
Yeah, it got the Game Award for Best Independent Game and Best Debut Indie at the Game Awards back in 2021.
I think it was also nominated for Best. But all around, it's absolutely amazing. You should play it.
Heck yeah, that's great.
You need to play it.
Was it just like a friend that brought it up to you and was like, "Hey, you should try this game"? That like
it was originally a PS4 exclusive.
Mm-hmm.
well, PlayStation in general, exclusive, I don't remember. And I didn't know that they eventually brought it to Steam and Xbox. So I wanted to play it, and I actually almost got the system just to play that game, but I just financially couldn't do
Right.
it at the time. So once it finally came to Steam and I saw a friend playing it, I was like, "What? It's on Steam?" So, thankfully, it was on sale when I got it. But yeah.
Heck yeah. That's rad. I'm glad that you're enjoying that. Like, I played that a little bit, I want to say a few years back, but I can't remember my time with it all that well, which means that I probably didn't finish it. So I should probably go back to the pile and go and do that.
Unless you like Souls games, don't do it on Master.
Okay, all right. That's fair. That's very fair. What about you, Dan? What have you been up to?
Let's see. Where did we last? I think the last game I was covering when the
Was
last episode
Metaphor,
was
right?
Metaphor.
Mhm.
Yeah. And by now, obviously, I finished it.
Mm-hmm.
Fantastic experience. I know you are actually playing it now.
Yeah, I just kicked
as
that off
well.
this
Yeah.
week, and I've got past the point of the 4-hour demo. And
Oh,
chat
it's
seemed
8
to be really
hours.
like it. Oh well, yeah, because
maybe
you have the first 3 days. Like it leads up to the inauguration section, and then the demo is like 3 days of game time
Yeah.
after that.
Yeah,
And
the
so
prologue is pretty dense before
Yeah.
they cut you off.
very much so. So I got past the inauguration portion, and so we're gonna
Yeah.
be picking up there next week.
Mhm.
But
It's
yeah,
funny because I played the demo on stream and I wasn't fully hooked until there's a little after the inauguration, after another big event happens is when
Mhm.
I finally got hooked on. And it took me like 130 hours of stream time to beat it, but
wow.
it was a fantastic experience. I think it's easily one of my favorite RPGs ever.
Heck yeah.
And that's up there with Final Fantasy 10 and 6
Mhm.
and some other RPGs. But I give it the highest praise. I hope you enjoy it.
Yeah. It's very rare that that a JRPG grabs me the way that this one has.
Especially in this day and age. Yeah.
Yeah. Legend of Dragoon was one of my
Yep.
DNA games of this is a game that is a part of my gaming history that I'm
Mhm.
most proud of. Sitting down in my sister's basement playing that on PlayStation for all 4 discs was incredible.
Yeah.
I wasn't locked in her basement, by the way. I had earned that time by mowing. But yeah, no, Metaphor ReFantazio is fantastic. I really, really enjoyed.
Mhm.
I really enjoyed that. The first bit of it. I'm excited to go even deeper into that. But
Mhm.
what else have you been playing?
After that, we played. I played Ghost of Tsushima, and I know a lot of people play that, but I never had a chance to play that, and I finally checked that out.
Mhm.
And that was another game. It's funny that I played 2 back to back, but that was another game that I really, really enjoyed. Not for the same reason I enjoyed Metaphor, but since I'm a huge film guy as well. So
Mhm.
I'm a big fan of the Akira Kurosawa era of samurai films, since he kind of pushed those and created those. So I knew a little bit about Ghost, but I never played it, and I didn't have a PS5 at the time. So kind of like what Sami said, when it finally came out on PC, someone gifted it to me from my community, and I was like, okay, at the end of the year, I'll finally check it out.
Mhm.
And it was just really nice for them to do that. But by the time I got to the end of it, I really enjoyed it. It was the combat was really good, the story was really good, and just the art direction of the game and all of the influence from one of my favorite directors, or just a lot of stuff that came into it that made me really enjoy it. And it was good for me because I was interested in Ghost of Yotei, but I was like, I might check it out sooner or later.
Right.
But when they announced it, I was already had a plan to play Ghost. So after I finished Ghost, I think last week I finished it.
Mhm.
It made me more excited for Yotei. I think that comes out at the end of the year.
Yeah.
That's pretty much it. the last thing I've started working on is I went back to Elden Ring
Mm-hmm.
this past Monday to start a challenge run to do my first like Souls challenge run.
Mm-hmm.
And the one I chose probably wasn't the smartest one to do first, but
Okay.
I started working on doing a Souls level 1 playthrough,
Mm-hmm.
which is where you have to basically beat the entire game without ever
Without-
leveling up,
Yeah.
which is incredibly difficult because if I get hit one time, I'm dead.
Mm-hmm.
I'm about a third of the way through, and I'm pretty proud of my progress. But it's getting very difficult already. I'm getting close to like where it's starting to ramp up a
Yeah.
bit more than I was expecting, and let's just say I spent a lot of stream hours on one boss.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I can imagine
I'm
that would
enjoying
be painful.
Yeah. But the satisfaction of once you get the boss,
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
supreme.
Hell yeah, man. Anything else you guys have been playing?
Destiny.
Destiny?
That's it for me.
Yeah. Bono, what about you? Bono and Seth, what have you guys been playing?
You go, Seth.
I mean, other than Destiny, not much. I
Not
picked up I picked up the what is it called? Let me check. Fast food simulator.
Okay. I saw that on Steam. Yeah.
Because it's one of the few simulators where you can play with other people. Like it's actually co-op stuff if you
Ooh.
want.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you can actually play with others. So you can play up to 4, I believe, if I remember correctly. And I was trying to find a new game to play with my partner, and he suggested that one. So we picked it up. We didn't play that long, but it's a simulator. It's very
It's
funny.
fun.
I did
Nice.
download Marvel Rivals, but I haven't played it
Mhm.
yet, so I need to
Mm.
check that one out at some point. But yeah, again, other than that, not really playing video games much. Mainly like reading and just chilling and
Yeah.
yeah. So I'm kind of and I'm also a little bit behind in Destiny. Just everybody's already like doing like they're done with all of their stuff. So I'm like
Mhm.
here and just behind. And I did my first contest of elders today.
Hey,
Ooh.
Tell you
congratulations.
how behind I am. Thank
Yay!
you, thank you. Like I'm super behind on stuff. So I'm like,
I don't even have
hey,
tonics yet, so you're okay.
dude, you're not missing much, in my opinion. I'm sorry. But yeah, so I just need to find people that are willing to go through the story again and do it
Mm.
with me. But yeah, I'm not much. So a little bit of Destiny and then just chilling, I guess. Not much other than that.
Heard. Bono, what about you?
I finished my tonics.
Yeah.
For you.
You have them
Congratulations.
unlocked.
Pain,
Congrats.
dude.
All of them.
Such
yeah,
a
it's
second pain.
Yeah.
Oh,
ridiculous.
dude. No, but it's kind of like when you get hyper focused on something and then
Mhm.
you're
Yeah.
like done, you're like, oh, what do I do now? Kind of thing,
Yeah.
Like, I'm
Yeah.
fucking done. I've literally got nothing else that I could possibly do. So
I
I was
get it.
alright. The exotic mission, ran through that last week. Ran through that quite a few times. Did all the
Mhm.
because you can do all of the intrinsics and everything at once
In one
now.
run?
So you didn't have to wait like
Yep.
weeks, right? Like you have
Yeah.
with previous ones. So yeah, everything for the shotguns unlocked, got it the way I want it, and yeah, it's pretty fun. Yeah, just that was kind of like what were last week was spent doing. So
Mhm.
it was just finishing stuff up. Monday spent Monday, finishing up before jumping into the final act and getting my tonics up and all the field researches, and then Tuesday night doing the exotic stuff, and then Wednesday just finishing up everything. So yeah, now I'm done. So I might go and check out these games you guys are talking about.
Heck yeah. Get Balatro on your phone.
Yeah.
Oh God. I
Balatro.
haven't touched that one yet.
Hey, you'll lose
Haven't
you'll lose
touched
a
it
lot
yet.
of time.
There
Balatro.
is
Yeah,
one-
I'm afraid of that.
There is one game which no one's like mentioned that's like coming out for like early access. I'm looking really forward to, and it's called Aloft. Have you heard of it?
No, I haven't.
Aloft. No.
Aloft. So the way I've been explaining it, it's kind of like Sea of Thieves, but in the sky. So it's like very sort of cartoony, like almost like comical looking, that sort of vibe.
Oh, okay.
So have a search, but you basically go through and it's like survival sort of thing, and there's like floating mountains in the sky. So you've got day night cycles, you've got weather,
Oh.
All of that, and you basically go through, and it's all
Hmm.
like green energy, like turbines and everything. So you put your turbines down, you do your farms on your floating, hills and floating land,
Mhm.
and then you wrangle everything together, and you just fly through the air with your little setup, and you go up to like other players, or you go up to like other just islands that haven't been claimed, and you wrangle everything together again. So yeah, it's kind of like a chill little survival looking game. It's from Funcom, so
That looks cool.
Interesting.
Yeah.
This
Mm.
thing comes out
Yeah.
in 2 days. You weren't kidding.
Yeah.
Yep. Early access soon. So yeah, I'm looking really forward to it. So
Heck yeah. That looks rad.
yeah.
Cool.
Looking
Uh,
at this week.
Speaking of early access stuff, so I think I was talking to you about it, Bona.
Mm-hmm.
But so there's a game, there is a sequel to Hyperlight Drifter coming out
Yes.
soon on Tuesday. It's called Hyperlight Breaker. Looks incredible. I think I'm going to be picking that up this week to mess around with on Tuesday night. I
Ooh,
also
I like the art of it.
it looks cool. It looks super super clean. And
Did you say Tuesday?
Tuesday. Yeah, it comes out Tuesday in early access. It's like $30 or
Jesus,
something.
a day and 18 hours.
Yeah, dude. These
are so close.
There's a lot of
I'll
stuff.
play it with you at the end of the week. Oh
That's
wait, no, it's not free, is it?
No, it's not. It's we'll figure something out. But like it's fun, dude. Like it's like it looks fun. They put out another game, I forget what it was called, where you were basically just skating around cleaning up blight from around the land. And I feel like that was a test for what they were doing with Breaker. And just like that game was fun. Breaker looks super fun. Just looks ridiculous. I finally I have been playing Metaphor ReFantazio on stream. I started that this week, but that was after like not being able to get into Dragon Age Veilguard. Like,
what was stopping
you?
You
Had that
getting into
issue as
Dragon Age?
well.
yeah. I was trying to play it on stream, but I just wasn't interested in it like at all. Like it was like I was getting in there. Like I made my character. He looked a lot like a games journalist that I respect. And so I was like, this is great. This is really fun. And then like I started getting into the meat of the game, and I was like, there's something about how the level structure is that just loses me completely. And like, so I've been playing it in my off hours when I'm not working on editing anything. And it took me like 10 or 12 hours, but I think I'm finally in. And I'm like, okay, I actually care about this now. And it was only after like fighting a couple of the world bosses, because there's these champions in just about every world that you go to, that that I was super under leveled for, but I beat like a couple of them at level 18 when they were like 35, 40. And
It's
so I
so
was,
satisfying, right?
yeah, it was cool. It was super rad.
Yeah.
One of them was this king that was shooting necromantic faces
the
at me.
Necro King.
That was cool. That was cool. But yeah, for the most part, I was like, this is just okay. And I'm starting to get deeper into it and enjoying it. But yeah, it was tough going the first couple of hours.
Had
first
you played
10 hours.
the previous one?
I had not, no.
No?
This was
So
my
this is your
first one.
Dragon Age
Mhm.
too.
Yeah.
Nice.
I've been told the Inquisition is really great and to give that a shot. But yeah, I had
Inquisition's fantastic. Yeah.
yeah.
But
So-
honestly, if you watch, I think there's like a little thing that kind of brings you up to speed.
I think
It pretty much does a decent job of telling you where the world is.
didn't Bife put out like a huge video series about like
Maybe,
I want to say so before he
but
took
I
his
didn't
break.
watch it because I already knew everything about
Yeah.
it. But honestly, there's a lot of lore behind it.
Mm-hmm.
To be honest, you're probably better just not watching it.
Yeah. And
because
just having
there's
my
a lot of
experience.
there's a lot of hand holding in some of it.
Mhm.
They mention a lot of stuff a bit too much, and it's kind of like meant for a player who wasn't there for Inquisition,
right.
who wasn't there for Blood Dragon, who wasn't there for Origins.
So
And
it's-
that's okay because it's been 10 years.
Yeah, there's a lot of exposition in that game.
Yeah.
And that's I think what was kind of like,
Mhm.
okay, like let's play a game.
Yeah.
Like I want to play a game right now.
Yeah, can
definitely
I
you
just
could tell.
play now?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So
I mean, you're fine.
yeah, I'll let you guys know.
I didn't like
I would do later.
I love that game, but I
Mhm.
was like you. The first 10 to 15 hours, I was like, I hope this gets better.
Yeah, it
And
does
then it really
eventually.
picks up about halfway through, and then the
Yeah.
ending, about halfway to the end, when it really starts to open up the lore,
Mhm.
open up the reason you're playing the game, and opens up the world. It starts getting really good, but it's
a lot. It's a slog to get through
the
at
beginning
first.
is a slog. I will agree.
It's like reading a Russian novel.
Yeah.
Just
I
a
know that
Russian
feeling.
classic.
They have such a tough job because
Yup.
I hate
imagine
reading
having
Russian
a
novels,
whole
man.
world like
Yup.
gone, and then
They
having to
just
bring
keep
a player
going.
up to speed after not being in that world for 10
Yeah.
years. It's tough.
Hmm.
Well,
Yeah.
I'm glad it's out because it means they can work on Mass Effect now. So
Yeah.
Listen, Mass Effect 4, let's go.
yeah, baby,
I can't wait.
give me.
They're
I
adapting
will
that. for
degen that shit.
TV. I'm so nervous. I haven't played it, but
You don't play Mass Effect?
I haven't played Mass Effect yet. No, but I'm
I mean,
nervous.
you have time.
No, and you know it's especially starting at the first one with the Legendary Edition that came out 2-3 years ago.
Yeah,
Um,
2021.
Yeah, so they did like a full remaster for the first game that came out in like 2007.
Mhm.
2007 came out in 2007,
Hate it.
but it makes it feel like actually quite good. It's very simplistic and
Mhm.
you know it's very robotic, but it feels so much better. So going
So
through that
much
and starting
better.
at that point, and then slowly diving in, and they did a soft remaster for Mass Effect 2, and then
Mhm.
Mass Effect 3 was just enhanced graphics. So once you get to that point, then it's more like, oh, this is crazy with all these decisions and you know all the different routes I can take for you know my build or my team's build, and
So good.
you know this is the story. It all culminates, and you're just like, what the fuck? And then you get through it, and you're like, oh wait, I could have done that a completely different way and got a different
Mhm.
outcome. So it's just
Oh, that's cool.
it's nuts, but it also counts your story from the first game and second game as well.
Oh yeah.
So like
Keeps
it's
progress.
one of the
Love it.
best trilogies of all time, and if they can bring it back, not that I hated Mass Effect Andromeda,
Mhm.
it got shafted because of Anthem.
Mhm.
I didn't get my
But-
DLC I paid for. That's all I'm
Nope.
saying.
Nope.
Still mad about that.
Yep.
Oh.
So, but you know, I'm
That's
very
sad.
excited, and if they can pull it off, it, you know, game of the year energy, hopefully. So
Heck yeah. Yeah, that's
should
a
play
couple
this
years
game
down
and,
the line,
like,
I think.
you should. It's
I'm
a
like-
great
I'm
game
looking
to
at my
play
library.
solo,
No, but-
relax to, and lose yourself into.
Yes.
The worst part is, like, I'm looking at my library. I'm like, oh, let me see if I can buy those games, right? I'm looking on Steam, and I'm like, oh, I have all of them, but Mass Effect 3.
You have
Well,
the
do you have the Legendary Edition? Because
You wanna get the
I have the
Legendary
legendary. Yeah, I have Mass
Oh,
Effect
then you're
Legendary
chilling.
Edition, the Mass
Mhm.
Effect 2 2010 edition.
the Legendary Edition has
Andromeda.
Mass Effect 3.
Mhm.
Has all 3 games in it.
Does
Yeah.
it? Okay, so I
It
have like
has
3
all
games.
three, has all the DLC already included. So you
Mhm.
want to get the Legendary Edition, even if you own
Oh, okay.
the previous one, because those
Mhm.
games were on Steam before.
Yeah,
But
yeah,
now
yeah.
you just want to have the Legendary Edition
The
because
Legendary
you don't want to
edition.
have
Oh
to
well, I
like,
have that.
yeah.
Okay,
Mhm.
Yeah.
time to sit down and play this game, I guess.
Welcome to Destiny Digest, where we talk about anything but
any
Destiny.
choice.
Hey man, like
Love
I
it.
think part of it is like showcasing a healthy
There's
diet of other
stuff that we
games.
can love.
Like,
it's
Other
nuts.
things.
Yeah, you know, like, but
Oh,
Who
God.
would have thunk it?
there were new things in Destiny 2 this week. So
Hmm?
we can start cracking into that. We had the Kell's Fall exotic mission that popped up. We have the Slayer's Fang that dropped from that or that came with it. It is an exotic shotgun that we can talk about a little bit more.
In your face, Graviton Lance.
We have the puzzles. So yeah, let's break into it. Who all played Kell's Fall this week?
Not me.
Bona, Epic Dan, Sami?
I don't even have tonics yet.
Okay. Yeah.
I have some of
that's-
mine. I have so
that's fair.
many.
I mean, I
Oh.
can't even make them yet.
Mhm. Yeah.
That's a...
You'll literally be almost starting Apollo by the time you finish your tonics at this point. Like
probably.
it's yeah.
Yeah.
It's not fun.
If you
Um,
haven't started yet, it's
Ugh.
just gonna be a slog.
Are they
But-
going away in the next act?
Not in the
or
act,
episode?
not in the act, but for the
So they'll
you
still
know
be
if they
there?
If they go by
episode.
every other time they've ever done anything, yes. When the episode ends
Yeah.
and Apollo comes
Mhm.
along, then you would think, yes, it goes away.
We'll have Heresy, whatever Heresy is bringing.
Oh, that's what I mean. When Heresy comes out, are the
Yeah.
tonics gonna be gone?
No, because we've still got the stuff from the previous
Oh,
episode.
okay.
Yeah, they should still be there
See how
until
I
the
complain
until the
about
next drop.
the
Next
terminology. of all
Episodes
this
are
stuff?
season, Daniels.
See, they just let me
I complained about it
know.
last episode.
Oh man.
Ah,
See,
Potato,
it
tomato.
feels like the
Potato,
big thing.
tomato.
Yeah, okay. See, that's a different thing. Okay, right there.
but yeah, so so
Both
we'll
cut
have
into them with a knife.
tonics. We'll have tonics forever, seemingly, until Apollo comes out. We only have 3 or 4 weeks before Heresy drops.
February 4th.
February 4th.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's 3 weeks now.
Yeah, 3 weeks. And then we had the Kell's Fall Exotic mission drop on Tuesday. So how first of all, first impressions, what did you guys think of it? How did you feel about the structure of it all coming out on Tuesday? Like basically 4 weeks of content coming out on Tuesday.
So the mission itself was good because it felt like sort of fluid and
Mhm.
everything in the mission felt like it went through. There weren't really any like points where you were like without actually doing anything, if that makes
Mhm.
sense. But going through it, you'd basically they did the thing where they like you come out of it and it's like, okay, go speak to Ido. Yep, come back out. Now go do this version of the mission. You
Right.
know? So it was like,
Yeah,
you change the name. Now
that.
forgive me, like the dysfunction or disassociate or something like that. There's a
Mhm.
lot of D words. So you come out and you redo that and you do that a couple of times. That would run through the whole storyline and you'd go run through and you do it a different path or whatever than the previous time for 3 times. So you do all that. So it's still the same sort of thing that you would have been doing week after week, but just all one night. So you're just like, you know, if anyone else new is coming along, they're like, what the fuck am I doing going back in here? Like again, why couldn't I just do that when I just ran back? Like, you know, whatever. So it's still set up for the old, you know, functionality, but just, you know, just doing it all in one night, if that makes sense. But you know, no, it was all right. There wasn't anything too puzzle-y wise. I think we overcomplicated it, thinking that it was going to be a little bit more puzzle, a little bit more figuring out when we ran it. But yeah, just simple sort of running through, nothing really to figure out. But no, the mission felt good. In my opinion, the replayability is there for those runs, but not to like run through again. And that's where they then had to tweet out just before the weekend saying, oh, we've made the change where now you get more progress or like more
you get more of the flake.
more tonics or whatever. Yeah, more of the
Yeah.
flake. You need those flakes for the tonics. This is why, Sammy, I'm saying that you're not gonna fucking get it done anytime soon. Because I was like running back in there over and over again to try and get these flakes for my field research for the tonics. So I was like trying to get all those done. And I'm just like, what? Why am I only getting like 3 flakes per thing when I need to do like 6, 5, and 4 different tonics to unlock the next ones? And it was like all requiring the flake. So I was like, okay. But they have gone and changed that now, so you do get more flake. But the fact that you need to keep running, I haven't. Correct me if I'm wrong, but I've never noticed anything before where with the exotic or with other missions within the story for that season episode that you've had to replay the mission over and over to get a reward to then go and do something. So that's the first time they've done that.
Yeah.
Correct me if I'm wrong.
Well, I mean, they've done it with raids, but like that's like Necrochasm. It's kind of like the same thing of like, but you're doing that specifically for
That's
like,
tomato potato
for that
right
weapon.
there. Yeah.
Right. And so, yeah, Dan, what are your thoughts?
I guess the question is, where do I start? I don't think this mission is an exotic mission. And I know some people haven't played it yet, but
No, I've heard that. I've heard people say that.
it doesn't
I think that's fair.
feel like an exotic mission. It doesn't feel like what Bona was saying. I went in solo day 1 minute launched, and I instantly treated it like it was a solo mission, and I overcomplicated the opening because I was expecting a bunch of puzzle stuff to unlock it, and I sat there for like 45 minutes trying to figure out how to mess with the organ to access whatever. Because I found one puzzle thing
Right.
and it input it right, and I was like, okay, so I must have to find 3 because Bungie loves the number 3 and doing things 3 times. I was just assuming it was maybe something like that, and then there's a lot of progression throughout the mission. That's just going through mirrors, and I understand the concept of it. But the mission doesn't get even good until you get to the first boss fight. From the boss fight to the end, I actually really enjoy.
Yeah.
Until you get to that first boss fight, I don't like it at all, personally.
Yeah.
I understand the concept, but I would have preferred all of that to be moved into its own mission.
Right.
And then you have a exotic version of it where you actually kind of are progressing through it like a more traditional exotic mission. If you look at Zero, I know we always talk about 0 Hour and Whisper, but if you look at 0 Hour, you look at Presage, you look at even Harbinger, you look at 0 Hour, all of them have a sense of speed necessary to them.
Right.
Whereas this one feels more like a almost campaign mission.
Yeah.
Which is kind of not what I was expecting. The shotgun is cool. You know, I don't know if many people are going to use it right now. I can see it being used in the future. But specifically the exotic mission, I ran it on normal to do all of my stuff to get everything. I ran it on expert on all the classes to see how the expert solo experience would be. And a lot of it just doesn't feel good until you get to like the first boss. And the first boss, speaking to expert, because I know everyone's going to have to do expert.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, a lot of people are going to try to do it solo because a solo experience on normal is a cakewalk. Anyone can go in there with any build, with any tiny build that they feel
like
that
half
they
an
want
hour.
to use. Yeah, it may be half an hour.
Yeah.
A casual half an hour.
I heard
If
that
you go
expert
into
solo is
expert is
so
a
hard.
pain.
Even
And
with
I
a
was
team, you just get fucking like one shot, like
Yeah.
constantly.
I was trying to
I
make a
cannot
build
wait.
for the guy
I'm
that I was
so
going to put out,
excited.
and it is a chore. It is absolutely terrible because of how many things you have to do. And I was telling my chat, I said, most people are not going to be able to do this solo. They're going to try to do it. They're gonna
Please don't
complain
tell
that it's too hard.
mechanics.
Okay.
Sorry.
No. I'm just saying the actual lethality of every single enemy.
Yeah.
They almost one-shot you, which is absolutely insane. I love it, but I also know if this was an actual exotic mission not tied to the story, I would be okay with that.
Right.
But since this is so heavily tied to the story and you cannot finish the actual act without doing this activity multiple times, the balance isn't there where it needs to be, which is my issue with the exotic mission. Because if it wasn't tied to, you know, Banana Joe, who's just clocking out of work after doing a 9 to 5, that just wants to finish the story just to see how it ends for the act, they can't because they have to do the mission 4 times if they actually be optimal. They have to do it 4 times and 1 time on expert. You're going to see people complain about they don't want to get friends or they don't want to go to Fireteam Finder because they already did everything else solo. Why can't they do the ending solo? And like Bona said, doing it with a team doesn't make it much easier because it's still that difficult. And there's times and places for it to be that difficult. But I don't know if this one is. So I'm not really sure what the thought process was with expert on this one, because it feels also different than previous missions that had an expert. What was the one for, the one with Choir of One?
Echoes.
Didn't feel the same.
Or
I can't remember the name of the actual mission.
What was it?
But whatever that one was, felt a lot more consistent with going from normal to expert.
That one, like,
I know Sami's gonna love it. And I enjoyed it. But I definitely know, like, I had to start. I'm still working on like a solo guide for expert for players because I just can't tell you to be cracked. You know?
Yeah, no,
I just can't.
unfortunately.
Not this time. So it's the mission has a lot that it could have done better. and it does have the replayability, but I feel like the replayability is only there for people that care about getting their tonics.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. Hard
So
agree.
we went through it on Tuesday. Like we did our 4 runs. We did the expert mode. And like it's tough to talk about this without spoiling it. I'm sorry, Sammy. I'm gonna try my best
You
not
can
to.
you can spoil.
Yeah.
I just don't want to know direct mechanics.
Right.
Like
So I mean, like basically you're taking on the greatest hits from the Forsaken campaign. Like like the bosses from the Forsaken campaign is essentially what you're doing. The main mechanic I won't get into.
sorry.
No, you're fine. You're completely
you're
fine.
good.
Yeah, you're completely fine to do that. I think I would be more upset with this mission if it were released like one week, another version a second week, another version a third week, another version a fourth week. It is very much giving story mission energy like throughout the entire thing.
I didn't think of it that way, but you're absolutely right. It feels more like a story that was supposed to
Yeah.
go
And-
over 3 weeks.
Yeah, and so because of how they're trying to release or at least release everything within this act or within this episode, I'm glad that I didn't have to do that over 4 weeks because it would have been like show up,
Yeah.
you play it for half an hour, and then you go and talk to somebody, and then like the next week it's you talk to somebody and then you play it for half an hour. We talked about this last week, but that's a whole other thing. But
You
like,
don't want to talk to a door 3 times.
right? Yeah,
Oh.
yeah, and like
I clipped that instead of like using it in VCs. Like,
I would rather do that in a day than
I'd rather
over
do it in a day. Yeah.
than over 4 weeks. And I think that was the better decision. It did feel like they did trim some of the fat on some of those interactions as well. Even though like some of them were like super weird, like you'd go outside and you talk to a book and Ido was like, "Hey, come inside. Just come and talk to me inside." And then you run in and talk to Ido inside, and you have to run like it's all that stuff that we've griped about in the past. But yeah, I'm glad that we were able to just do it in one day. Do I want to play this mission again? Outside of helps, probably not. I'm not going to finish tonics. I'm not going to go for flakes. I'll probably do a guide on it, and then that will be, and like, the organ's like the coolest part of that mission.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, hands down, just the coolest bit. Seeing all the videos of everybody being like, "Hey,
Yeah, I
this
was
is
gonna
my
say,
cover
all
of
the
Hell's
content.
Bells."
Yeah.
Like, this is my cover of this whatever song from Wicked on this organ. Like, that's cool. I like seeing that kind of material. It is a unique
I feel like
experience.
that's a negative though, if you really think about it.
If that's the highlight,
If that's the highlight of your
Yeah.
entire mission, everyone only cares about the organ,
mm-hmm.
which is in the front of the mission. So
Yeah.
no one cares about anything past the first 2 minutes.
Yeah, that's kind of sad.
The shotgun, I felt pretty whelmed by. I haven't really been messing around with it outside of like going and getting the intrinsics on it. Outside of that, it was just kind of for me.
you need to try it on Titan with backup plans.
Titan with
We'll
backup
avoid-
plans.
Yeah, but
Okay.
that's the
Just about
problem.
time backup plans.
That's the problem with it. Is that like the moment we all got the shotgun, everyone instantly was like, no backup plans, Titan.
Yeah, but the
Mm.
moment I got Excalibur, even though I'm on a Titan, I was like, oh, you have to bring this out on the Hunter with those gloves.
Yeah. I just wish it had more going for it. And
Mhm.
I know like what was it? The person who made the exotic did a whole article on it
Mm-hmm.
because this was his very first weapon he made for Destiny.
Cool.
It was an
Nice.
interesting read. But like I can see it getting like a buff in 6 months
Yeah.
or like a change that will actually make it good. Because the ricochets that over penetrate and ricochet is a cool mechanic, but it doesn't do anything. You know?
Mm.
Mhm. It
And
also
I
doesn't
wish it
keep
did something
Overload
else.
stunned.
Yeah, but that's a bug.
That's a
They said
bug
they'll
though,
fix it.
Oh,
right?
is it? Oh,
They
okay.
said it was a
Right,
bug.
right.
They
Yeah.
said it's a bug.
Cool.
They'll fix it soon. But yeah,
Yeah.
it is
Cool, cool,
bugged.
cool, cool, cool,
Can you
cool,
send that
cool.
article in our chat and or the
I did. Yeah.
text
You
chat here?
did?
Okay, cool. Sick. All right, I'll
Like my hoping was originally like, I hate to bring up another game, but I was thinking like in another game they have a gun like this that when you ricochet it off the ground, it does in that game 800% more damage. Only when it's ricocheted, the bullets that ricochet off of a wall
okay.
or on the
I know
floor.
what game you're talking about. yeah.
So I was thinking like when I was
Halo
reading
with the
about the
scatter
perks, I thought, oh, maybe I could do some cool stuff with shooting it off a wall or
Mhm.
shooting off the ground. But unfortunately, it's just the same damage profile no matter what you do outside of like the weakening effect, which is only 15%. But
Right.
if it could do some cool stuff, it doesn't have to be that. But if using the ricochets somehow applies maybe like an instant critical or something, something that
Mhm.
makes it
Beneficial.
unique.
Yeah, it's beneficial.
Yeah. That's what I
Changes
was
the
hoping.
play style of the weapon.
Changes the playstyle somehow.
Yeah.
Because at its core, it just looks like a void shotgun that can debuff and that can do the destabilizing rounds thing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So they'll probably do something in Frontiers where they give it some busted thing that everyone all of a sudden uses. But I have a lot of high hopes for it in the future.
All I've heard about the mission overall and the gun was that people were, it was whelming. That's what they called it. It wasn't
Mhm.
underwhelming. It wasn't overwhelming. It was whelming.
Mm-hmm.
And I was
I
like,
killed the
"Damn."
boss and I said, that's it.
Mhm.
Just out of
Okay.
instinct.
You're right there. Yeah, no, I mean it's kind of sad. Like I haven't played it yet, right? But like I've seen clips of it. I've seen people gonna play through it. So I have like bits and pieces and I haven't done the whole thing.
Mm-hmm.
But I was kind of just like, damn, it's kind of sad because it could have been such a good like it could have been such a hit, quote unquote, and that would have been great for Bungie because
The community needed a hit. Yeah.
Yeah.
they need a hit, exactly. Like they kind of needed it. And I was
Mhm.
like, man,
They
it's so
definitely
unfortunate
do.
because yeah, they need a hit. They need something that's gonna be like, damn, like how Whisper came out and people were like, what is this?
Mm-hmm.
And people just lost their shit over it. I remember people being on freaking IO. It was IO, right? For like
It was IO.
hours on
Mhm.
end. Like people, I think I spent 6 hours on IO one weekend just to get a stupid public event to pop, and it was bugged and
Yep.
it didn't pop, and it was like awful. But anyway, but like it was such a hit that people were like, yeah, we don't care. We're gonna spend 9 hours on IO, 6 hours on IO just to get into the thing to try
Mhm.
to get it. And like Bungie needs that again, right? They need something similar to that because the game and back then the game was good. So like it was even better because the game was good. But like the game right now is kind of in a state that's just like, oh, it's a waiting
Yeah.
state. And so
Well,
I
we've-
was
What would you
really
say is the
we've talked about
last
that for
great exotic
weeks,
mission?
though. You know what I mean?
The last
Yeah, no, I know.
exotic mission at launch.
Exotic weapon that came from the mission. Like what? Like,
oh, the weapon
not so much
itself.
the mission.
That depends because some weapons weren't good and then they got real good
Mhm.
after. So I
Yeah.
guess depends.
I mean, I know that Whisper and 0 Hour both weapons were good when they came out.
Mhm. And they brought them
that-
back, and now you can craft them. But
Yeah.
it's like it's still not
Mhm.
that
Yeah.
same energy,
No,
Like,
no,
I think
the
Press is just
feeling
a
of that
great
is not
mission.
there.
I think Press is the last great exotic mission.
I kind of would have to agree. That's not been reprised or anything.
That's
Yeah, I
not been
kind of
reprised,
would
yeah.
have to agree.
I liked Encore. I liked my experiences with Encore
Mm,
outside of like
I don't
The-
know.
What's that one?
the
again?
end of that story. That was
It was-
the
it
Choir
was
of One. That was the Choir of One mission.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
I think it's cool, but like
I like
I don't
what was it? Starcrossed.
Yeah. Starcrossed.
Which one was that?
yeah.
Yeah.
That was the bow, isn't it? Oh, it was the
Yeah.
the Riven thingy. It was the
Yeah.
Ahamkara one.
Mm-hmm.
That wasn't bad. I will say that it wasn't bad. I didn't like the boss fight of it though, and I didn't really like a lot of the mechanics. But it was a good
It's
one.
tough though.
But it wasn't like, oh my god,
Yeah.
like it wasn't that
Mhm.
feeling that both Whisper and 0 Hour brought. Presage was
Yeah.
good because it wasn't a oh my god. It was more like this is kind of creepy and scary and like
Yeah.
what is this? And it also delivered a lot of lore that was cool
Mhm.
with the Crown of Sorrow being there and then the Callus stuff and
Mhm.
whatnot.
It was
So
its
that's cool.
own. It was its own microcosm thing, or like
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
Like, I think
Does Dual
maybe that's
Destiny
what we're
count?
saying, right? Like, is that what we're saying?
Oh,
Is
I
that
guess yeah. If you're counting Dual Destiny, yeah, then it would be Dual Destiny.
Oh,
Never
fair.
mind. Yeah.
are we
No,
counting?
yeah.
Are we counting things as like just hearing the pattern of what we're saying? Things that are outside of
It's-
the game experience or the story and the game experience that we go and
They,
interact
they
with,
tend to do better.
they tend to do better because they're like a little
Yeah.
off of what the
Yeah.
season has going for
You
it.
guys remember? Yeah, you guys remember
Yeah.
Thunderlord when it first came back into Destiny 2, and you went to the whole Cosmodrome before we had access to
Mhm.
Cosmodrome, right? And you also had the whole Saint 14 stuff and whatnot. It was kind of like adjacent to the story. It wasn't quite in the story itself. It was a
Saint
great one.
14.
But you want to know
Bastion,
something?
that whole Bastion corridors of time shit. Like,
Oh, it was
Uh,
that
yeah,
was
man.
another thing, but that was a whole thing, right? But like,
Mm,
yeah, I think that Destiny, well, at least used to deliver better on mission when they were kind of adjacent to the story,
That,
or
like,
not related at
counter,
all to the
or they run
story.
counter to it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
The
yeah, and they
biggest
were like,
issue
not
is
at all
that
about
all
it.
the
It's just
ones
like
we
a little bit.
mentioned are what is it? All the ones we mentioned are ones that we don't expect. That's probably
Right,
the biggest
exactly.
issue.
Mhm.
Also very true, and also they
Yeah.
were done by very specific people that are not at Bungie anymore.
Well,
Yeah.
Which is unfortunate.
But the
yeah.
biggest thing is like we know the exotic mission is coming. If
Mhm.
even this one, if we didn't know it was coming, that would instantly have made it better because we didn't all
I
like, okay, let's
agree with
sit
that.
down, let's go play this. It's about to
Mhm.
drop.
I agree
If all of a
with
sudden
that.
like you were doing tonics or something, and then one random tonic drops and has some weird thing, and it's like, oh, well,
yeah.
you know, something that like takes
Yeah.
us into the mission,
Mhm.
spontaneity.
I don't think that they'd be able to get away with that now. I feel like
Mm.
there are so many limits on what the community will tolerate. I feel like people would not like it if all of a sudden something just drops, like on some Friday, all of a sudden this exotic mission drops, or
It can
someone
never
just comes
happen though
across
because of
it.
data miners. So
That's
Yeah.
mainly that. I don't know, Sami.
But
I think that
also, I mean, there are so many people that are like, okay, all right, here's an example.
Mhm.
Dawning event card. How many
Mhm.
people were upset because they could not do it right away? And I'm not saying like they won't be able to access the mission, but it's like one of those things where I want to experience it right away as early as possible, or
Mhm.
even story missions. I don't want to have to get or wait for spoilers, risk that. It's inconvenient. While people would like it, people are going to like it the first day. The people who can access it are going to like it. Otherwise, it's like, it's not a surprise. It's just something where it's, oh, I missed out. It's the FOMO of discovering something.
Mhm.
but
And
is it
there are,
discovering if there's like a date of when it's all going to be shown?
yeah, exactly.
well,
It's
I'm
kind of
saying like
already
as
out.
far as Whisper goes, like they wouldn't be able to do another surprise Whisper mission where all of a sudden someone just comes across it.
Mhm.
I don't disagree with you, but I don't also fully agree with you. Because like Dan said, and I kind of think it the same way about this, where it's like it's already in the calendar, if you want to call it that.
Mm.
It's already in the calendar. So we know it's coming out, right? So and it's also almost expected at this point because it's so formulaic. I'm so sorry, but every season, every episode, every year, every 6 months, whatever you want to however you want to calculate it, it's now to a point where Bungie is so formulaic that we kind of like, oh well, we should have a dungeon by that point, or we should have a new raid by that point, or
Mhm.
we should have a new exotic mission by that point. And it's kind of sad when you think about it this way. It's like, oh, we expect it, and then because we expect it, we're like, well, it's a little bit underwhelming because we expected more. Because again, unfortunately, we'll always compare it to the greats, right? Like
Right.
0 Hour, Presage, even 0 Hour, like Whisper, and all of these things. I don't disagree with you because I know some people would complain, but also there's always people that complain, always, all the time about anything, unfortunately. But I still think that I don't know if an exotic mission would be a thing that it could do this way, but I think that bringing back some of those little like unexpected things, unexpected moments in the game could be to a certain extent beneficial for Bungie to be like, you know how they dropped the 30th anniversary update that we kind of had no clue was happening? Something, and that just revived the game, right? It just revitalized the whole
I
game,
totally
everything.
agree with that.
Right. So
I mean,
like I said, maybe not an
missions,
exotic mission, but
dungeons, raids.
yeah,
It's one of those things people actually take those as
they're granted. They take it for granted.
world forest or world first. They take it
Yeah.
for who can do them,
Mhm.
fastest. I don't
Oh
think
no,
if
I
it
get
comes to an
that.
actual exotic mission, they could
Yeah,
do it.
maybe not
Otherwise,
maybe not an exotic mission.
otherwise I
I agree with
totally
you.
100% agree with you guys. It's just they could never get away with an exotic mission just dropping like
They would have
Whisper
to pick
did.
and
And I
choose,
hate
to be
that.
honest, because
I hate
like
that
Mhm.
too.
it just really depends. Like the consistency of everything dropping and us knowing is definitely a problem. But not everything should
To a
be
certain
known
extent.
because like it's like
Yeah.
they can't they might not be able to do it for an exotic mission. They obviously can't do it for rare. Like imagine Pantheon just randomly dropping on us and no one knowing.
Right.
No,
Like obviously that's
that wouldn't
something that
work.
they have to plan out.
That's an appointment television kind of
That's they
thing.
have to plan out.
Yeah. Yeah,
But there are
exactly.
things that they should have in the game that create spontaneity in the sense of allowing players to have a reason to randomly boot up.
Mhm.
Like I don't know
Yeah.
what that needs to be, but there does need to be something because otherwise you just have the sense of let me just clock in, check out this mission, and clock out. You know
Mhm.
what I'm saying?
Yep. I agree.
I don't know how they do it. I was just using the exotic mission as an example because I definitely agree that like obviously if there's anything PvE in the game, someone's going to take it seriously and they want to
Mhm.
use the reason that they will go for a world's first exotic mission is because we don't have anything outside of a raid to go for a world's first in. But if they
Mhm.
Yeah, I agree.
somehow made more things to engage the average player, that'd be nice.
Mhm.
I don't know if they do, to be honest.
I mean,
But it
the
needs
30th
something.
anniversary thing was pretty good. Was it called Into the Light when they did the Onslaught when it first came
Yeah.
out?
Into
They did
the
announce
light.
that
Yeah, but they
one.
told us all that we knew.
Yeah,
Yeah.
they did announce it, but like that type of idea, right? That type of content when it dropped was really good. And like the 30th anniversary, like the whole Zur thing, the dares, that was
Mhm.
kind of unexpected. And people were like, what is this? And it was kind of cool at first, and people played the heck out of it.
Yeah.
Same thing with Onslaught. People played the heck out of it to the point where like I was getting myself like sick and tired of this thing. That was a choice, though, to be fair.
Common
Yes. But
Destiny
people were
2 plot
playing.
problem.
No, I did the same thing.
No, but like I played with friends, so I was still
Right.
enjoying it because I was hanging out with friends, and it brought back people into the
Yeah.
game also. Like people that I hadn't played with in forever were coming back to do that content.
Mhm.
So I think maybe something like that
I think the
would
benefit
work.
I think the thing that Into the Light had benefiting it though was that it was a lead in, like it was a free lead in to the Final Shape, which was an expansion that a lot of people were looking forward to.
It was also, we knew it was
And-
going to be a 6-month long season.
Yeah.
That,
And so
but
Seven-
also
It was also good. Let's be
it was
honest.
very
it was
good.
also good.
It was
But
great.
I think it still benefited from the 30th anniversary.
Mhm.
Like the whole when it benefited from how popular and how great the 30th
Mhm.
anniversary was because people were kind of expecting something similar, which it was in some regards. I'm not going to deny that,
right.
but it did benefit from that. I think if we didn't have the 30th anniversary, people are going to be like, "What is it? What is this?" Right?
Mhm.
So that
It's-
helped it a lot. But
It probably
was
still
really
would have
good.
been
It was
great
really-
because like
Mhm.
even
Well,
in
it
a
still would have been
vacuum.
great. But people
Yeah.
would have been like, "What is this?" But yeah, no, it was great, and
Mhm.
maybe they'll do something similar again. That'd be nice. Who knows?
I know they talked about doing like a Pantheon thing later on this year. Is that like
They said
Is
they
it
were
this year or
looking
is it
to
next
make
year?
they said in the next year, but like that was November, like October,
Yeah.
November last year.
Yeah.
So I don't know if they meant
Yeah.
calendar year or just year to year.
Yeah. I thought
But they said
that
they
they
were
meant
thinking
for
of
the
trying to figure
following
it out.
year. Yeah.
I mean, they could use one.
Yeah. I'm really
around
hoping
that.
one thing that I will say that I liked about this episode, and it's like story stuff. It's not it has nothing to do really with the mission. I mean, the mission leads up to the story stuff. I really liked how it ended. I liked that it ended and like had set a character on a trajectory that was that puts them out of the picture for a good long time, seemingly.
Yep.
Yeah, I liked that it ended. was the big thing. Is like because I mean like the last Echoes ended with Maya Sundaresh just kind of going like
whatever.
huh? Yeah, she
Wasn't
just kind
it
of
like
like
the conductor?
yeah,
Okay.
the conductor, she just kind of like Homer Simpsoned into the bushes, into the Radioloria, and we don't know what that means or when we'll see her again.
I was half expecting the
sorry.
same to fucking happen again.
Yeah.
I was like,
Oh, that's funny.
he's gonna dip. He's gonna dip. And then he
Yeah.
didn't dip. I was like,
Then he
"Oh,
didn't dip. He didn't
they
dip.
can change.
Yes. Maya's just in the soup
Maybe
now.
would have rioted.
Well, I think it sets up characters in an interesting way for future stuff, which I don't feel like the ending of Echoes really did. And
The
so
ending of Echo was the first one too, though. I will
Yeah.
give it that little like leeway where it was like
Mhm.
the first episode, season, whatever, that thing.
Mhm.
He was the first one of that. So they kind of had, you know, it's a foundation stone, right? So
Yeah.
it's really eh
But I mean,
when you think about it on its own. But yeah, with the rest of the story, it starts to build more and then it
Yeah.
makes it a little bit interesting. But yes.
they've told
Yeah,
stories for 10
definitely.
years now though. So like I mean
Yeah.
I do not disagree with you
that's the thing.
with you about that.
Yeah.
But I will say this, and we've talked about this before. A lot of the narrative people are not at Bungie anymore.
Yeah. It's true.
Not the same ones, no.
I'm hoping that Heresy will bring like knowing that we're going back to the Dreadnought for Heresy. I'm hoping that will open up some secrets, especially with the history that the Dreadnought has had in the Destiny community as being this kind of like this huge thing that you could find different corners and niches in, and
It's a brave choice if you really think about it too.
yeah, it's really cool.
They can
I-
ruin
Yeah.
a fan favorite,
Mm-hmm.
or they
Possibly.
can make it like even better.
Yeah.
Build
Yeah,
on
it's
it.
like the meme of like that's a bold move. Let's see
Yeah.
if it pays out.
I wonder.
Yeah,
Especially
I-
after
I
the
really
first two
disagree.
acts haven't been received very well.
Mhm.
Mm-hmm.
I
Yeah.
hope it's a banger.
I
Like
wonder.
we said a lot of the time, isn't it? It's like the one before an expansion, like the season
Mhm.
episode, whatever, before an
Mhm.
expansion is like solid, and it's usually a fan
Yeah.
favorite,
Mhm.
right?
Hence to
So
be, yes. Hence to
there's a
be.
reason. There's most likely a reason why, you know, of course there's other reasons, but why they've chosen to bring the Dreadnought back in the last one, right? And tell
Mhm.
that story sort of from there. You know, I'm actually really excited for it. I wasn't really excited for like the first two, but I'm really excited for this one because of the whole aesthetic of it, and
Mhm.
you know, we can all just start to theory craft what is actually going to happen from this story. You know, if we go into an interdimensional ship and we're talking about Apollo, where are we off to? You know,
Mhm.
like what are we going to
Leaving the
find?
soul, baby.
What are we in for? You know, so I'm actually really excited for this.
This is the one I've been
So-
waiting on.
Mhm.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure. And with that, so as part of this past week's update, we did see some new artifact mods. We got new authorized mods for grenades. Armor energy costs on armor mods affecting your grenades are significantly discounted. Column 2 saw frenzied hunger, so rapid final blows while devour is active grant a bonus to reload and handling. Finders Keepers, picking up special or heavy ammo grants a chance to receive an armor charge. Heavy ammo grants a greater chance. Void Renewal, while Devour is active, Void Weapon Final Blows have a chance to generate a Void Breach. And then on column 5, we have Old God's Right. After picking up a Void Breach, dealing damage with a Void Weapon creates a rain of seeking projectiles. Have you guys played with these at all? I haven't really messed around with them all that much. But
But yeah, the last one is solid. You know, it's
You
it's
like the
very
last one?
yeah, like it's solid. It's very situational, very situational and build wise. But you know, but sort of what mod isn't. But yeah,
Mhm.
no, it's solid. It's interesting. But it, to use your words earlier, it's overwhelming. So
Yeah.
Mm.
I did a lot of testing with it in a bunch of places, and I was definitely underwhelmed.
what
with
were you
that.
on?
I did it on Hunter. I did it on Titan because I feel like those were the ones that most people are going to try it on.
Yeah.
My biggest issue was that the rain that was generate, even with the tonic, the rain didn't stay long. It would only stay for about 2 seconds.
Mm.
And I thought, okay, maybe it's not going to be as the baby Deathbringer orbs may not be that strong, but if I can chain it to where it's constantly in the air, if I keep getting kills and elemental final blows, maybe it'll consistently stay, and then I can have like almost a pet. Like
that's adorable.
But unfortunately, it's on a locked cooldown where it will trigger. It drops the rain for a second and a half and then stops. And you cannot get past that. And then you also have the lockout of your timer where you have to then create another void breach, then get another kill. And you can't get the synergy of the speed and you
obviously
really
did a lot more
excited
testing than I did, so but yeah.
Because I saw that and I was like, oh, this is gonna be my brain started just I'm gonna make a void rain. Just sits there all the time.
I'm gonna have a cloud above my head constantly.
Titan stuff and all that, but it was like, okay, so there's no way for me to make this last longer. Cool.
I wonder if they did that.
It.
Yeah. I wonder if they if they were like, oh, this is going to be very powerful if we let this just be rolling.
Yeah, that's probably what it was.
Yeah.
Because it does a lot of damage for that,
Yeah.
It creates the rain. With the tonic, it makes more rain. And they, if I'm not mistaken, they will apply whatever void stuff you have going on. So if you have like volatile on, they will also trigger volatile and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So it can create a pretty busted synergy. If you have the ability to make that last forever.
Yeah, it just needs more. Yeah.
But a second and a half is nothing.
No.
Yeah.
No, I get that. I can appreciate that.
But so that was for me. I was really excited. I did all this setup, and then once I got into the kitchen, after I left the kitchen, I didn't have much. I was really sad.
Yeah.
I heard that it basically feels like you're getting headshots with an SMG. Where if it doesn't just keep going, it's kind of just a waste.
Yeah.
Even if it just was, you couldn't re-trigger it, but it lasts, say, 10 seconds in the air. I would be even more happy with that because with a Hunter or with a Titan, kind of a web, but with those two, you can create all of the necessary parameters to have it up almost all the time. But you're literally not getting full use of it because of the lockout of it spawning, shooting some stuff, closing. So please, Bungie, let me have my Purple Rain fantasy.
Purple Rain, that song. You got to play it. If they ever do that, the first time you do it, you have to play that song.
Yeah.
Let's go. Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Let me live my dream.
There's a chance for that emote now. Because they can program the Purple Rain and then with the guitar in the solo in the Purple Rain. Just like the Super Bowl
we can go
halftime show.
We can also go back to the organ and play Purple Rain.
Yeah. See, we got a movie of the week right here. Bunny just let us have it.
I want in. I want in into that.
All right.
I want in.
All right. We'll start getting things together.
How many people can you have to get the emblem? Like
it's up to 6,
as many
right?
as in the thing. No, I've seen people get higher than 6.
Really?
No, you can get higher than 6 because
I thought it was 12.
It just has to be. Yeah, I think it's 12 total.
Okay.
But it has to be
12.
as you post it.
Gotcha.
You have to put everybody there as you post it.
Yeah.
And then not touch it after that.
Gotcha.
So yeah.
Gotcha. After that, in the TWAB this week, we saw that they will be increasing the Strange Coin cap from 99 to 199 in Heresy.
Yay.
And taking Assyrian.
That's really good.
Yeah. Taking Assyrian ciphers and Nightfall ciphers, bringing that cap up from 10 to 30.
Ooh.
That's also good.
I like
That's
those.
also
I'm just
good.
curious.
Ooh.
What are they adding?
Yeah.
Because they wouldn't. I'm gonna say it. They wouldn't increase the cap unless they had something getting added that they're like, oh, we need to increase this cap for a reason. So I'm curious what Heresy is going to offer that's going to take strange coins. And I'm curious what weapons or whatever is going to be added, or what vendor refresh is going to happen that they needed to increase the ciphers as well.
So
It could simply be down to just
Oh,
this is
yeah.
something that they tried to do months
I
ago,
hope
or
it's
they wanted to
something that
bring.
says,
Mhm.
I
yeah.
hope.
So yeah,
well,
their
so
backlog after everything.
I know we were talking about data mining earlier. There is something
Yeah.
that was data mined, so take it with a grain of salt.
See, that's why
Um,
we can't get nice things, all the data miners.
Right?
Yep.
But
Agreed.
there is something possibly coming at the end of the last few weeks before Heresy or in Heresy that could take advantage of these. So
Ah, okay.
it could be that they're doing it on the back end of that so as to
Spoilers, Dan. Now I'm expecting something.
look,
I
man.
We just
know.
spoke
I'm
about this.
sorry. I'm sorry. I said it. Take it with a grain of salt. It's like the weather, man.
If nothing happens, we blame Dan.
I got big sausage fingers. I can't grab grains.
Just
Oh God.
blame Dan.
I already do.
The last thing that we'll cover before we get into community questions. Are you team Slasher or are you team Specter?
Oh God, can I pull these
Spectre.
up?
Specter.
Not even close.
Are they
Hold
doing the thing this year where you can choose the class?
You can choose the class.
Yes.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Okay,
And they-
Didn't they also announce? I read that they announced that they were still gonna bring back. They're gonna make
They're
all
gonna
of
do 'em
them.
They're
all
going
of
to make
them.
all of them eventually.
Yeah.
It's just
Wait,
Yeah.
what? Say that again.
Yeah.
yes.
They're gonna release all of them. So whatever is voted first is gonna be released at Festival of the Lost next
Mhm.
this year. Yeah, this year. Sorry.
Right on.
Yes.
And then at
Okay.
some point, they're gonna release the other ones after that. I don't
Yeah.
know. They haven't said
Okay.
anything when it will be released, but it will be done. It will be available in the game at some point.
Mm-hmm.
Who knows
I'm
when.
glad that they're doing
Okay.
that too. Yeah.
Yes.
Very happy
I'm
about
still
that.
Team
Can-
Spectre though.
Same.
Can
Big
we,
same.
can we do that with the other sets from previous
Can
years
they
too?
roll that back? Yeah. I mean, they probably can, but
I'm.
it'd be
Look,
nice.
That'd be nice.
They've probably
Yeah, I think it'd be
added
nice.
it to their workflow to make both. Like,
Well, they probably
Oh, yeah,
added this
for
year
sure.
because
Yeah.
new people complained about it. So
Yeah,
they're
yeah.
like, finally, okay, you know what? Let's
Yeah.
just you go through all that work of sketching up a design, and
Yeah.
they probably are already working on creating the artwork and creating the in-game look of it.
mm-hmm.
That by the time the votes are done, you're probably like almost done with like say they were almost done with Specters and then Slashers win. Then you wasted all that time. Just let
Yeah.
us still have it. So
But yeah, Team Spectre all the way. I want my Babadook Titan.
Scarecrow, Warlock Scarecrow is I really like.
What am I voting for? Hunter and Warlock.
Hunter and
Hunter?
Warlock.
Yeah,
Spectre.
I really like
Spectre
the
for
Spectre
Hunter?
for Hunter.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then
People have
Warlock?
been going nuts for that one.
I want the Scarecrow first.
I don't know,
I
man.
can wait.
No.
Slenderman.
You spoke
I find
first.
them-
You
Here's,
get
here's
it.
my
You
issue.
got my
'cause
vote.
Here's my issue. I made a video on it. My issue with the Spectre Warlock and one of the other. My issue with the Spectre Warlock is the concept art doesn't tell me if the arm worm things how they move. I would need to know
Yeah.
how
Yeah.
they move before I decide on any like armor sets that move. Because historically, you see an armor piece that's supposed to move, and it might not move at all. It might move a little bit, and it's just static, and that instantly
Mhm.
kills it for me. So I'm playing it safe. I go Spectre Titan, Spectre Hunter, Slasher Warlock.
Slenderman.
So
Slenderman.
that Scarecrow
all day
one
for
looks
me.
really sick. But
Slenderman
I-
all day
I
for me,
wouldn't be-
dude.
I wouldn't be mad at the Titan Spectre. Like that. Those
Babadook.
legs are pretty cool.
I just
Is
want
that
the
what it
mask.
is?
I
That's
just
what
want
it.
the
It's
mask.
The,
it's
the
Babadook.
mask and legs are cool.
I believe.
The Titan for the slasher, the Titan helmet and the chest piece are just those
Yeah.
are sick.
Does
The rest of
anyone
it, I'm
know
not
where they're
mad, but-
from? Because some of them I couldn't tell. Like I know,
Well,
like
it's
there's
obviously
Scream,
Freddy, isn't it? So-
Freddy, but like, what is the Titan mask from Spectre? Reminds me of like that one, not the Purge. There was another movie that had
It's-
like a character with that mask.
I think it's the Babadook.
It looks like
Is
fucking
it?
Jigsaw, actually.
Yeah.
Oh, Babadook would make sense.
What's
I think-
Babadook? Am I gonna not
So
sleep tonight?
it
if I
was
look
an
at this?
Australian. It was an Australian horror film from like
Holy
2014.
shit, I actually
Why
have
is
heard
that
of
so
this.
creepy? What the?
I
heck?
have heard of
Babadook,
this.
yeah.
What this shit?
It's
I'm
fucking.
getting
It's good.
nightmares now.
It's good. Go watch the Babadook. It will give you
I'm
nightmares.
good. Thank you.
Babadook.
No, cheers.
I am not watching that. Thank you.
Go
very much.
watch
I
the
don't think
Babadook
Mm,
all day, every
Nope.
day.
Mm-mm.
I'm
Watch
gonna
that.
go with no.
Yeah,
I
you know what?
I know these actors
I
and
don't do
actresses too.
I can do suspense like Nosferatu, which
98% on Rotten Tomatoes. Okay.
It's
fuck
great,
off.
dude. It's a good movie.
I
Get out of
I
here.
heard it's good though,
Dude, I'm
but
not.
yeah.
No, I'm good.
I'm not
Yep.
watching that. Thank you. I do strongly recommend Nosferatu to people though. Fantastic movie. Side note. Really great movie.
98% certified fresh. Really?
Certified fresh.
Rotten Tomatoes is also a scam, so
It
don't
is. Letterboxd is where it's
Fair.
at.
take it with a grain of salt.
I don't know.
It's so funny.
Yeah.
Oh god.
Yeah.
There
So
actually isn't a bad armor set though. Which
No,
I remember,
there's not a
like,
bad look
no matter
out
what
of
they
all
But
of
I'm
them.
pick,
also
I'm fine
like,
with
there's
them.
not a great one. Like to me, there's not like a one that stands out. You know, I'm
I
always
Only
like with
pieces
these things. I'm
stand
like,
out.
yeah, I'm always looking for pieces. I'm like, okay, that's gonna work with this other armor. That's gonna work with those
Yep.
legs and those arms.
I'm
you know?
always-
I'm always
yeah.
like that.
Yeah.
Mhm.
But I'm probably
Precisely
like that
how
for like
I
one
am.
or two pieces across the entire board. I'm like, not.
Do you think they'll ever let us buy a piece? I know their
I don't
Eververse
know.
prices and like money would go through the drain, but because I buy a lot of sets just for one piece.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Two
Yeah.
max.
Yeah.
Yeah. Same.
Agreed.
Same.
But
But no,
I know that's
I
probably
don't
why
think
they'll
I
never
don't
do.
think they would do
They'll
that.
never do it.
No, I don't
What
think
I've
so.
always said was like, it's cool that they're adding them later, but I was like, don't give the community a choice now, but wait until it comes out. Drop them all at once, right? And then if
Yeah.
you buy
Surprise 'em?
no, announce that they're there and this is what you're getting. But if you buy the slasher Titan, you can't buy the
Oh,
Specter
I see what
Titan.
you're saying.
So
Oh, it's
give
a
the
knockout?
community the choice, right?
Yeah.
So yeah,
Oh, people
Oh,
would be
interesting.
mad. People would be
So-
mad about that.
and that would have been cool. But that would have been cool last year with the good and evil warlock
Yeah.
wizard sort of thing,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
But it wouldn't make sense so much for this one. But last year it was like a different version of the same one. So it was like, oh, you can't have the bad wizard stuff if you've chosen good wizard.
Yeah.
Like
Here's a
Mhm.
question because I thought of this myself. Going off what Bona said, if they were to throw in the store all 6 sets,
Mm-hmm.
and let's just go with Hunter. You pick the slasher Hunter. Since it's connected to the Festival of Light, if they took away that set because you bought it, and the other set you could earn just from doing Festival of Light, would that be okay?
Agree. Yep.
Yeah,
Yep.
I like that.
Yep.
But
I'm
that's-
fine
yeah.
with that.
Would you be
Okay.
okay with running Festival of the Light content to earn the other set?
it'd probably be the first time I actually get the fucking seal after all these years.
Probably.
Yeah.
Like honestly, I always stop
no,
because
Because
I
that's
fair.
what
look
I
at
was
my
thinking. I was
calendar.
like,
I
just
stop.
let
for
me buy
Festival of Light.
one, and then let me just play the game to
Mhm.
earn the other one.
I
Like,
would
let
do
me
that.
just spend Bright Dust or Silver to instantly get the one set I want,
Mhm.
or however you want to think of it. But like, I was saying, like, if they're gonna give us both, which they should, and they obviously are, would the community be okay? 'Cause I never know, but would the community be okay with just playing the game, playing Festival of Light or Festival of the
I know,
Lost?
you're asking a lot.
I know, Festival of the Lost, and just playing that content, and then obviously whatever way they have to make it where you don't have to sit in there for 100 hours to get it.
Right.
But just go into the activity and earn, say, each armor piece slot. What's the thing? Transmog slot. Armor ornament. That's the word. Every ornament piece.
I'd be into
Because
that.
then it's tied to festival.
Mhm.
Because obviously this is why we're what it's coming with.
Get those daily
But
active
then you have a
users
reason
up.
to do it. I mean,
Yeah.
I mean, end of the day, that's what they're looking at, right?
You're
It's
not
like-
wrong.
Yeah.
Yeah.
my worry is just.
I mean, it would
with
help
them
the
giving us
population
both.
for
They won't
sure.
give us the other one for like 6 months later, and then they'll just say, "Well, we said we'd give them to you later."
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I agree
Yeah.
with that, which is unfortunate.
It's later, chat.
It's later, Bungie. I want to know.
As long as they give you the
yeah.
second set before the next year's festival, they technically didn't lie.
Technically.
So
Don't worry, they'll give it to us as additional cosmetics next year.
Yes, something like that.
Okay.
Unfortunately.
We have a few questions from our audience and also from a couple folks on Blue Sky. So we had Adobe Jacoby asking, "Hey all, what is your favorite weapon and role from episode Revenant? Can be a world drop, revamped Garden of Salvation weapon, episodic seasonal, or the new exotic weapon. Just whatever speaks to you."
I don't actually remember all the stuff that came out this episode.
I like the Adept Glaive.
The Adept Glaive.
Yeah,
the primary one?
From the Stasis one. Yeah, you get Chill
I
Clip and
will
Rhyme
say-
Stealer on that. It's great for the stasis changes and everything. So, yeah, I know it's not like seasonal stuff. It did come out this
Mm-hmm.
this episode
I think
though.
it came out
so-
this season, yeah. Mhm.
Yeah, Rake.
Yeah, that's solid. And there's also like the auto rifle from the dungeon, isn't there? So
Oh yeah.
Are we counting the dungeon? I guess
came out the episode.
was that this?
Did that come out? Yeah, it came out last act, right?
Yeah.
Act 2.
Was it last time?
Oh,
Mhm.
okay.
Yeah.
Oh, then I know my answer then. Okay.
For me, the splicer weapons coming back. I love those weapons.
Mm-hmm.
I wish all of them were back, but I'm happy that they brought those back. I just wish they were easier to farm, but that's a whole other thing.
Chill inhibitor for sure. I think that's made it into the pantheon of like the meta weapons in Destiny 2. I really like that. I would say I really enjoyed the Rake this season as well.
Mm-hmm.
I've used that. It's also friggin' huge.
Done
And
triple
so,
glaives yet?
yeah, I have.
Yeah.
Yeah, I have, buddy. Just glaving around. Glaives for Daves, dude.
Pissing off Rev the other day and chilling.
Poor Red, man.
But yeah, the Rake is super fun. Like it's huge. It looks goofy on your back and you're running around with it.
Mhm.
It's just cool.
And
Yeah.
how cool does it look? Because you always hold your primary weapon in the inventory screen. You stood there like, oh, no,
No
get
joke.
That is
boss me.
hilarious seeing somebody with that.
Fucking
yeah.
great, dude. I love it. God.
Heck yeah. Everything I ever dreamed of and more. Any others before we move on to the next question?
For me, it's Velocity Baton.
Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't think of the dungeon, but yeah, Velocity Baton, my orb printer has been. It's definitely the weapon I've gotten the most kills on this season, easily.
Mhm.
It's just give me more aerial denial GLs. I love that archetype.
Is that attrition orb on the velocity baton?
Attrition orb demo.
Heard, okay.
So with the whole like debuffing of grenade launchers, that's so much fun.
Yeah. Jay Bozanowski in chat says, wasn't the stasis sidearm from Iron Banner this season as well?
Ash, yeah. But I have not used that at all.
It was a stasis sidearm.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. It was a rocket
Oh,
sidearm,
yeah,
right?
Yeah,
So
I
many
remember
here.
that. I remember that now.
Tenash's Mastery, that one.
The ammo economy still kills it. I think that's why I don't use it nearly as much.
Mm.
Yeah.
I did not have a good roll, so no, I haven't tried it.
Other than that, I haven't really messed around with like the red tape that recently came out this week. I've just haven't found myself using scout rifles like at all. Period.
Red tape.
Yes, it is a scout
Yeah.
scout rifle that came that drops from the dungeon, I believe.
I must have instantly deleted it.
Possibly.
'Cause it was a
It's
scout.
It's not a
possibility.
bow.
Yeah. So you're not gonna, yeah. Fair.
Let's be honest.
Heretic's
Playing the
Fervor
bows
was
gotta
the
go.
It was a Rocky.
Heretic's Fervor was the rocket launcher that came with that too. And yeah, I just didn't.
Oh, that's that rocket that gets double quick draw. I saw.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Does that make it faster?
You know, that's what they should do. They should allow us to get weapons that can have the same perk twice. That's what they need to do to shift the meta.
What perks would make that absolutely broken? Rampage?
Double bait and switch.
Oh,
my
no. Oh, no.
60% more damage on a GL. Double eager edge. Yeah. Double eager edge. Because we already had double eager edge. So,
Double attrition orbs.
yeah.
Next question comes from Fenrir Iron Lord. on Blue Sky. Thank you, Fenrir. Should Bungie re-release the original September 2014 Iron Banner weapons and armor?
Oh my god, yes. For the
What
armor.
were those?
I'm having
Or
to
maybe I'm
Rolodex
thinking of the
my
next
memory.
one.
I don't know.
I think
I
the
don't remember.
second
We have Taken
set
King's
is what
armor.
I like.
We have that one. We have
Let's
Taken
see.
King and Rise of Iron. I gotta look up. I don't remember what.
Yeah, I'm looking right
I'm
now.
I
just
need
finding it now.
images
I'm trying to
because
find
I
it
don't know.
now.
Yeah, I mean, like, dude, bringing back old.
Yeah, we've got that
Um,
armor, don't we?
We got that year too.
Yeah,
Yeah.
the year one though would
Oh,
be pretty slick.
I could go to dim.
There. Oh yeah, there
Oh,
you go.
yeah.
That's the way you can do it.
Damn.
To dim.
What'd you call
Oh
me?
my goodness.
But yeah, I
I
could see
forgot all
like
about that.
that would be cool. I could see them bringing that back and like it being a really nice set for people.
Iron Breed.
Especially the Iron Breed set is what it's called.
Iron Breed.
The
I need to see a picture of it.
the hunter helmet displayed in that from Bona looks really rad. Like I could see that being a compliment to any set from a lot of different for a lot of
Those are
different
the ones
hunters
that
out
you
there.
had the Eververse ornament to get the flaming chest piece. That's year
Possibly?
3. Yeah, that's year 3.
Oh, that was year 3. Well, then
That's
I don't
Age
know.
of Triumphs ones. Yeah.
Maybe I'm drunk.
Okay, maybe
I don't
that's
know, this one's
not
so
the
many.
one. Oh, let me see.
Send photos next time. So I
This
can
question has derailed the conversation.
send photos
Yeah,
next
yeah.
time.
You gotta add a picture next time
Yeah.
to make sure we all
Yeah,
know
you
what
do.
we're asking.
Otherwise,
It's
I'm not
something
asking
very
the question.
specific.
I'm not
We're
asking the
old.
question.
Oh my
So
god.
now
We're
we all have to
so
Google
old.
what you're talking about.
Exactly.
We're that old, we use Ask Jeeves.
I'll be editing all of this out. No. So no, honestly, like any armor, like past
More
armor
the better.
has like a nostalgia point, as long as it's
Yeah.
worthwhile. Would be cool. Should they bring the transmogs back? Absolutely. Like just let people have their looks. The more looks, the better to me. Getting into the last two questions of our chat here. We have
Iron Regalia.
Iron Regalia.
Sami, we were almost out of this.
Yeah. Now I have a name to look up.
That's so
Yeah.
funny. I'm so sorry.
All right. So we have Sherpa Mind asking, what artifact mods would you like to see in Heresy? Returning or something new and fresh?
Glaive stuff. Give me
Glaive stuff?
Give me glaive.
New and
Give me
fresh.
some debuffing glaive thing or some armor fucking anti-champ mods.
Mm.
Something. It's so
Yeah.
long.
I want Oppressive Darkness back, but like OG.
Mm.
I
think
That would have to just be a mod now, right? Because we have the weakening aid. They'd have to be just an artifact that increases the
no, but the
debuffing.
OG version, the stupid version. Do you not remember
The
that?
OG one was
Like, it
busted.
was-
You're right.
It was broken,
Mhm.
but in the best way. But that's what I want back. The OG version that was broken in the best way. But that's never gonna happen. But yeah, that's what I want.
Particle
Please give me
deconstruction.
that back.
I want to another
That
season of particle
specific-
deconstruction. Yeah.
Perk is the reason why I don't use artifacts when I do my first
Mm.
solos.
Particle?
Artifact perk.
Oppressive darkness.
Oppressive Darkness. Yeah.
Wow.
Because it was so
I mean,
powerful
yeah.
and I
Yeah,
crutched
it was
on it
insane.
so bad.
30%, if you really think about it, a solo person debuffing for 30% for I think almost 20 seconds
That's pretty long, yeah.
was pretty big. So I don't blame you. It's a pretty big increase.
I
Oh,
went
there's another
solo op.
one.
I could see
need solo op.
Yeah, I was gonna say I
Yeah,
think
that's
solo
fair.
operators
Do you
definitely
think
gonna be
so?
coming.
I saw
solo
your
should just get out of the artifact and just become a staple?
I saw your tweet the other day about it, like hoping they would add it
I
this past week.
I'd rather them just make it just a actual thing in the game now.
Yeah.
Because
Mhm.
too many
Um,
dungeons, the experience for people like
I have a
it's
great idea.
bad.
A great
Sammy and I
idea.
have done. So like the experience is totally different with and without solo op.
Mm-hmm.
We add it
Yeah.
as a tonic.
Oh God, go away.
No.
All
Go
right,
away.
that's it for
Go
the
away.
night.
Go away. Yeah, we're out.
Oh,
We're
my
We're out, people.
God.
What was the one that was like? It was. I think it was Sun something, and it was. It was DSC heavy. You would shoot something 4 times. Like it
Oh,
was like
that
that
one
one.
that you were like
Sundering.
Sundering Glaze.
Yeah,
Yes,
that
that
Yeah.
one. I wouldn't say
Mhm.
no to that one again. I
Yeah.
like that one. It was a pretty
Didn't
good
they
one.
bring it back kind of recently and it just wasn't the same?
They have brought it back, but it wasn't the
Maybe?
same. Hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It
nobody
was
played
because
the
they
OG.
made the
Like,
debuff less.
Mm.
yeah, like yeah, stuff like that. I don't know. I miss these type of really stupid, really broken. Because it's just for the season anyway. Just make them broken. Doesn't matter. It's for a season.
Mm-hmm.
It's
If
gonna
they
go
make
away
it
after.
broken, then everyone has to use it.
I mean, everyone has
I
to
don't
go
mind.
meta mode anyway. Let's be real.
I don't
Let's be
mind though.
so real. Like everybody has to be meta, otherwise people just gives you shit. So annoying.
I don't
It
know.
really is.
I need Sammy's input on this.
Like
I'm
I'll
curious
give
what
you
Sammy thinks we
of
should
what.
add from
Oh,
not a only solo gamer, but what would Sammy want to see added as a artifact? I'm curious.
other than solo op.
Other than solo op, since most of Sammy's time is in a solo experience,
Yeah, that's very
a lot
true.
of the artifact doesn't really apply to Sammy
Yeah, it's
just
true.
because of
Mhm.
what Sammy's having to do. I'm curious what you, as a mainly solo player, would love to see.
There was one, the elemental. What was it? It dropped little elemental. What am I thinking of? Like little elemental
Mm.
orbs on the ground.
Was it recent or was it like
No,
prior to Final Shape?
it was prior to Final
Was
Shape.
it back when we had elemental wells?
Yeah.
Yeah, no.
Oh.
Um,
Hmm.
what season did Ghost of the Deep come out?
17,
Oh God.
I think.
2023. It was around Easter time 2023.
Okay. Trying to think. It was where it would drop. Well, there's two. One is that it ended up dropping extra ammo, heavy ammo. I think on kills, and then there was another one. Come back to me because this is gonna bother me.
See, now I'm thinking about what mod you're talking about because I'm trying to remember.
When did I start Ghosts? It was when we had. Okay, it was fall of 2023. It was October. So artifact for Destiny 2 artifact.
Season 2020. Season 23 was it? And then
It's not elemental like the person chest. Elemental orbs, but not wells. Referring to when there was an artifact mod that dropped literal elemental orbs that you threw? No, I don't think that's what they're talking about.
Oh no, it is what
Mhm.
you threw. Yeah, what was that? Season what?
For heavy, you threw it
23?
for heavy?
No, there were two different ones.
it was like an
Oh,
orb that you
okay.
picked up and threw.
I think so. What season was that? 23?
Oh.
Well, season 23 was the season that came out. Like Ghost of the Deep came out.
Oh, what was the
Oh, unraveling orbs, picking up an orb of power. No, never mind.
Yeah,
Forgive
yeah.
me.
Fucking read.
There's been so many artifacts that like a lot of
Yeah,
them just
for
become a
real.
blur. I
Yeah.
don't. Only like the highlights stand out to me.
There was a
Or the
season
odd
where they
ones.
did have
Okay.
those wells and stuff, and it was like a
not
new thing.
unraveling.
Well, I know they had a season where like there was a bunch of stuff that would just spawn from kills and
Mhm.
stuff. But I don't
See,
remember
this is what I
anything.
think that was.
Alright.
Because I remember it was so much easier in Ghost of the Deep because I could just constantly throw something and I thought it made them volatile And this was when I was doing Master Ghost of the Deep.
Oh yes,
And there was
yes,
another
I know
one.
which one you're talking about. Oh,
There's
it was
another thing that would generate ammo on kills because it kept dropping special ammo as well as heavy ammo. And I don't use special ammo, so it was littered all over.
See,
Just
now I want to look it
special
up.
ammo.
I think I know what you're talking about.
So
Trying to
they're
remember
two
now.
I know the
different ones.
I'm glad you
volatile one.
guys have no fucking clue.
Yeah, I'm
The
lost.
volatile one was Elemental Wells. It was when the whole thing came out. It was the first time volatile came out. And it was, I don't remember the name of it, but if you picked up a void elemental well, your void weapons, all your void weapons would become volatile, would have volatile for
Oh,
X
that
amount
was
of time.
that was the
Yep.
shit. That was like
That was amazing. Yeah, that was the
yeah. When did Void
I agree
3.0
with
come
that.
out? Was that
Yeah,
with
something like that.
Void
Oh, what was
3.0
it
came out with
called?
Witch Queen, didn't it?
I
Void came
believe
out was Witch
Okay,
Queen.
or
Yeah.
this was
Yeah.
different. This is gonna bother me.
Are you talking about like actually like picking up something and throwing it, Sam?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure that's what it was.
Oh, that one I don't know though. I'll be honest
Alright,
with you.
You have some homework to do this week, so you can come back next week.
I
tell us.
do. It's gonna frickin' bother me.
Yeah, I'm gonna lose sleep over it.
Oh god, that's funny. So sorry.
Final question from Dr. SP7. If you could rework one subclass entirely, what would it be?
Actually, I was talking about something similar today when I was farming with some people for raid stuff. But anyway, I don't think I would rework a subclass like per character. But here's something that I was talking about, and I was like, I feel like it's a missed opportunity, either because it's too difficult to do in game for players, or it was not implemented correctly by the devs. I don't know which one it is. Might be a mix of both, to be fair. But here's something that when Strength came out, not Strength, sorry, when Stasis came out, I was looking at Stasis, and you look at like the subclass itself, and like all of the aspects and the fragments and so on and so forth. And to me, when I was looking at it, I was like, dude, if you have a full team that has like full stasis out, it should be symbiotic altogether, right? Let's take a behemoth titan that just goes around with his super, creates like forests of ice, and then you have a warlock following behind, just like exploding all that ice everywhere. Like it should just
have one
flow
be a
into each
primer, the
other.
other one be detonator.
Yes, exactly, right. One starts like just creates all the ice and just goes around creating all the ice, and then you have like the warlock follows and just explodes everything. Or even the hunter can also come in with the tornado and everything. I feel like there's like a symbiosis that could exist there and is not either implemented by the players because it's too complicated or it doesn't actually work that way. But when you look at how it's built, it should like it feels like it should be like that. And I kind of hope that, or I wish that Bungie would do something where it could be so beneficial to have a full fire team of one specific subclass, and it would just flow into each other and work with each other and feed each other. Because I feel like it's a bit of a waste. And with Prismatic nowadays, everything else is just Prismatic is just too strong. There's literally no point, and there's no benefits to have a full fire team of like Stasis or Void or whatever that would feed and help each other out with different kind of stuff.
I only tend to
That's
use
just my
stasis
opinion.
stuff with Prismatic at this point. Like, I don't.
But every
I'm the same.
what is the point of running a full whatever like Strand, Void, whatever like class nowadays?
Yeah, unless you're like
What is the
hyper
benefit?
specialized. Unless you're hyper specialized.
Even then, like it's the Prismatic is so strong and so good. I feel like the other subclass have been left behind, and I think they all need a little bit of a rework to make them, like again, make it a benefit to be like, hey, you're running a fire team of XYZ, like you're running all Strand or all Stasis or whatever. You have a fuck ton of benefits by just doing that.
Get rid of all the subclasses. Everything's prismatic. Put it all into one.
That sounds ideal.
know
What
about
you're
that
talking about
one.
now.
Fucking spit and duct tape on it all. All right, we'll get it done. It's fine.
Oh my god!
I said it's fine. It will all work out. I
yeah,
wouldn't.
exactly.
It's not answering the question, but I wouldn't like. I don't know about changing a subclass or whatever, but I do think that we're overdue for Stasis and Strand getting other super abilities.
Mhm.
Not wrong. I do not disagree with that. That is very
So,
true. I feel
if we
like
were to change anything, like it'd probably be the additions of like other aspects, fragments on Strand or Stasis, or even
Mhm.
just if you want to go with my first thing where I just said delete everything, just give us more like fragments or aspects in Prismatic and start peeling everything away. And I don't know if they're ever going to change what's on Prismatic. We're stuck with what's on Prismatic forever. But if they're
Mhm.
going to rotate things out, maybe with Apollo, or just pull everything into Prismatic, or change it up or add things, I don't know. But if they add things into it again, we're moving further and further away. Or it could be maybe with each expansion, they'll be like, oh, we'll add these things to Prismatic. Okay, cool. Now we'll add the last lot with the next expansion after that. And then there's no point having the multiple subclasses. But in also saying that from a gameplay development wise, it's a fucking nightmare.
Yeah.
It's broken.
Do you see?
I found it.
Do you see?
Sorry.
You had a week.
oh my
Found
god.
it.
Hold on one second here. I want to ask this question, then
Continue.
we can go back. Do you see like a future expansion where they release a whole suite of like a new subclass for all of the classes?
No.
That's
I don't see
outside of
shit.
Prismatic. No.
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 Not for now. Not until this game goes back to being an absolute like what it used to be, unfortunately.
What's the
Mhm.
question
don't
one more
see that.
time? I want to make sure I hear this correctly.
Like, do you see them making like a full whole cloth suite of like supers, like a subclass outside of Prismatic, like something more along the lines of Stasis, something a lot more along the lines of Strand, post Prismatic,
Would they make another super only for that, or make
or
it
like
for
another
Prismatic as
suite of
well?
abilities that is outside of Prismatic?
Like a full new subclass.
picture. There was a picture a little while ago. It was like before we knew Prismatic was coming out, where it was like a red subclass, right?
Oh,
And everyone went crazy, like,
Yeah, I
"Oh my
saw that.
god,
I
it's
thought that was
Eseipha, it's all
Prismatic,
that."
though.
I thought
It
that
was like
as well.
it was like a placeholder, right?
Yeah.
It's like a placeholder image, but all the
Yeah.
abilities were red. So they came out and they confirmed that it was a placeholder thing, but it got everyone like really excited for like a third darkness subclass. So
I just
where do we
assumed that
sit?
was a placeholder for Prismatic.
Exactly.
I didn't
But
think much
also
of
their
it.
their placeholder color is purple. So whenever you see the icons and everything like that, and they like have a placeholder image, it's always purple. It's always that like
But
that
that one's
void.
red.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, that's what you're saying.
So like they came out and said, "Oh, it's just a it's just a placeholder. It's just a dev build sort of thing, like testing stuff out." But maybe everyone think, "Oh, yeah, they're working on the third darkness subclass, and are we ever
Right.
going to get a third darkness subclass? What would it be?" And I was always like, "Okay, well, you've got Stasis, which is that, Strand, which is like warping, and then what would be the third thing? And it would be like resonance, right? So resonance, orange, red, sort of deal." So
Yeah.
I just don't know from a developer stand. I would like to talk to them in regarding to this, but I wonder if they think it's more beneficial for them long term to focus only on Prismatic than focusing on the previous subclasses.
Right.
Because you're not going to do both.
Mm-hmm.
They could either make Prismatic static and just add maybe some new transcendence based fragments,
Mm-hmm.
and then go back to focusing on the main 5 elements, or they can just leave that as is and start pushing to more Prismatic based stuff instead of being like a guardian that has a bunch of elemental subclasses. Have a guardian being Prismatic that can channel all these things, and that's your main tools that have more and more options. Because the biggest question or biggest issue with Prismatic has always been I have to go back to these, not worse, but these old subclasses to use very specific fragments and aspects. If they were to pull, like, say you have a prismatic hunter, and you pretty much only go to arc, void, or solar just to use specific elemental, ignitions or
Mhm.
volatile based stuff. If they were to move that to prismatic, then there's no reason to have anything but prismatic.
Right.
And that's the issue that some people have is, like we've already said, prismatic is so overwhelmingly powerful
Mhm.
in comparison to all of the other 5 classes, that the only time we go back to those classes is if we have to use a very specific synergy with those things, only because they're not in prismatic.
Mhm.
So if they were to come
agree
out
with
and
that,
figure
yeah.
out, like, are we going to focus on prismatic, which is technically easier as a foundation moving forward, or do we go back to focusing on very specific elements for all 3 classes?
Mhm.
Once I know that, I can answer.
Yeah.
That's why I'm not too sure.
Yeah.
I never use prismatic. But then again, it's me.
But
yeah.
that's what I'm saying. Like, if you could use a very specific void build
Mhm.
under prismatic, would you?
Ultimately, that's exactly what I do. Like I look at it
Well,
sometimes
there's
like
some you
really I'm
No.
sat there using
do not.
all the void abilities on prismatic. And I
No,
just
there's
I
think,
do
some
not.
that you can't use because they just aren't there
Mhm.
in prismatic, which is what I'm saying. Like, there's like
Mm.
the biggest outlier is solar. Like, if you want to do the infinite restoration build that you always like a lot of people run for solar, for like the infinite resto, the infinite radiant, none of those things are in prismatic right now.
Yeah.
But if you have those things in prismatic, there's no reason to use solar.
Mhm.
Obviously, the reason that they did that now is so you have a reason to still use those old classes. Same thing for void. If you want like infinite void, you still need to use void hunter or titan or warlock for like the explosions of volatile stuff. But if they were to retool those and then pull them into prismatic, then you start having fewer reasons to use anything
Right.
but prismatic.
So
So it's interesting what they would want to do.
if they were to introduce like a new class, it would have to have a very strong identity that
That competes with prismatic out the gate.
yeah. Or fills a niche that prismatic doesn't really touch because
Which is
of
what?
the
Like when you, but that's the issue with prismatic right now is
Mm.
that it's a jack of all trade type of
It's
thing.
technically
Right?
a jack of all trades, yeah.
Yeah, it's a jack of all trade. Like it's not great at all the
Mhm.
things. It's good at all the things, right? But it's not great at one. I mean, some builds can be great at like one specific thing,
Yeah.
but overall, it's not great at one specific thing. But it's good at all the things. And it's kind of like, okay, you want to introduce a new. I think that until they make all the other subclasses have something that makes them compete with prismatic,
Mhm.
introducing a new subclass is kind of a waste.
It's a
Because
waste.
again, prismatic is so strong. It has so much like benefits and so much like just good things overall. Again, jack of all trade, right?
Mhm.
You can make a build that will fit pretty much anything you need. Again, it won't be insanely great, but it'll be really good. And that's
Mhm.
all you really need, unfortunately.
Yeah. No
So
one
I
uses
don't.
solar warlock outside of well. So if
Yeah, and then
prismatic
even
had
then,
Right.
well and Icarus dash,
yeah, exactly. You're done.
you know,
Out.
you're done.
Because like I'm a warlock main, and I dislike. I now dislike getting off prismatic. And the only
Yeah.
reason I'll do it is if we need a well, and even then I'm like, man, I don't want to do that.
Yeah.
So that's unfortunate. Unfortunately.
Cryo says something that I think is probably insanely true. Enemy progression comes first to create a need for new tools to combat them. And
That
like,
I've always said. I agree.
Yeah.
Yeah. Mhm.
Yeah.
The issue with prismatic is while it's it's busted.
mhm.
It's busted only because the combatants we're using it against just cannot compete.
Right.
That's just it. I don't know how
That's also
you
very true.
change that and update that. It's the same thing with builds. A lot of builds, no matter how niche or cool they are, they're pointless because we're already so strong. We can go in with whatever and just like steamroll it
Right.
in 90% of content. So it's just a balancing act of like making fun builds that can like. You don't want to ruin the power fantasy where you can't take a build and see the maximum potential of it. But you should be able to have some force coming back at you that feels like you have to use the maximum amount of your skill. And you're not even talking about having 5 other people also with a very strong build. That's when it becomes like super high. So I agree.
Okay. All right, Sammy. Let's go back to. So you found the thing.
Sammy did their homework.
I did my homework.
Yeah. What did you find?
Volatile flow,
What did you
wasn't
find?
It was on the Acolyte staff from Season of the Witch. Column 3,
Oh.
Elemental Orbs, Void. While
Heck yeah.
using a Void subclass, Void Weapon Final Blows have a chance to spawn a Void Elemental Orb. Void Orbs can be thrown to create a Void Explosion that makes enemies it damages volatile.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay.
I
vaguely remember
never
that,
used that. Wow.
but I've never
That
used
was
it.
a
Yeah.
thing?
Yeah, I used to
Yeah.
use it.
I
You should have
once you
seen it
mentioned
go
the
Right.
name, I instantly remember what it
crazy.
was. And I was like, oh, I've
Like
never
think
used that.
the ruinous effigy balls,
Mm-hmm.
like those
Yep.
things.
Yeah. I remember that. Yeah.
And they had one for
Wow.
Arc and they had one for Solar.
I remember
Arc
exactly what you're
Orbs
saying now. Yep.
made them jolt. Solar Orbs made them
Yeah.
torch.
I forgot all about
Incandescent,
that.
yeah.
'Cause I never
And
used them.
then this was also
I didn't use
in
it either,
column
to be fair.
5, Monochromatic Maestro.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Dealing
That I remember.
elemental ability damage
love that one.
increases matching weapon damage.
That was a fun one.
And here's the one: elemental munitions, defeating final blows with tangles or elemental orbs. Have a chance to spawn or to drop special or heavy. So basically,
That's right. Wow.
Basically, you have void weapon final blows to get the elemental orb, then you throw the elemental orb to make heavy ammo, to damage the other enemies, to then kill them with your void weapon, to then throw the enemy or throw the orb to get heavy ammo. So it was just a constant back and forth. And then all of that, you could also throw your grenades. If you made, with the void weapons, you would make orbs. You pick up the orbs to feed your grenade. Then your grenade you would kill to get monochromatic maestro.
Mm-hmm.
It just was a huge synergy.
So those together, yeah.
I'm so glad
Yeah.
I asked Sammy because that's all stuff that I remember. When she started mentioning it,
Mhm.
I remember the column. And I was like, I remember never using them. But I know it was because outside of monochromatic maestro, I didn't have much need.
Right.
But now that you mention them, I instantly started remembering even like the little visual icon of what it was. I just didn't remember. I could see those being very, very beneficial. But they're very, very beneficial for a very specific player.
Mm-hmm.
Like when you're in Master
Like when you're in
Heat.
solo Master Ghost.
Yeah.
with all bows
All
at
those.
XR.
Right. But I still maintain that volatile flow, which is the one I was talking about where like
Yeah.
there's a grenade kill and then your weapons would become volatile. I would like that one to come back too.
No, wasn't
was-
that
that
the
was a
orb
fun
one? Just picking up an orb made you volatile?
Oh yeah, that was the one.
that
Mhm.
Yeah.
That
That one.
was
That
That one
one.
was
That
the
one was
best
That
one.
free.
was
Yeah.
beginning of
That was
That
free. That was
that was a free
amazing.
one.
Yeah.
Because you could chain it because you would get a kill with a volatile weapon that would create a new one. You would just
Mhm.
put it in again.
Yeah.
It was fantastic. It was so good. Yeah,
And
that
back
one.
then,
Volatile
siphon
flow.
mods were they weren't siphons. They were called something else. But whatever you could do for like multi kills generating an orb, it was like even easier to make orbs back then.
Yeah, exactly. Oh, I kind of miss that. It was fun. It was really fun.
that was the season when you could use, I think, the first season that you could use volatile,
Mm.
That was
maybe
the
it
first
wasn't.
season. That was the first season with
Yep.
volatile. Yeah.
where you
Yep.
could use that to stun barriers. And I know this because I
Yeah.
was doing, guess what I was doing? A solo master challenge
No
with all
way.
bows.
Oh, so shocking.
I was doing
Crazy.
Solo Master Callus, and there was one barrier I had to kill. I think it was Solo Master. Yeah, it was Solo Master Callus. And there was one barrier I had to kill, but I had to make sure with a limited number of ads that I made an orb.
Mm-hmm.
I made 2
Yeah.
orbs to be able to grab the orb, get volatile. I would run out of volatile by the time his stun would be over, and he would put his shield up. So I had to grab another orb. So I had to get to the orb by the time his shield came back
my
up. So
God.
I got volatile again so I could break his shield because, yeah. So I remember
Crazy.
this very clearly because that's also the season that Gerfalcons came out, but it was broken for a season.
Yeah.
Oh yeah,
All right.
crazy.
Well, now that we've answered all your questions, let's say we call it a night, shall we?
Yes.
Thank you to everybody who's come through and who's listened
guys.
to the podcast, who's come to the show brand new and fresh. We had a couple of good raids tonight, and at the end of the stream, we'll be sure to go through all the names who followed and who raided. Before we do that, though, let's tell you where you can find everybody here on the show so that you can give them a follow on their respective platforms. Let's start with Bonafide Hero. Bona.
Hi, yeah, Bonafide Hero, not on Twitter or X, whatever you call it. Yeah, Blue Sky and everywhere else. I'm live Monday to Wednesday on Twitch.
Let's go.
Epic Dan.
You can find me pretty much everywhere on Epic Dan 22. If you Google Epic Dan 22, I guarantee you'll find every single platform I'm on.
Heck yeah. Sami Cat. What about you?
I'm on Twitch as well as YouTube and Blue Sky under just Sami Cat. And then I am on Twitter and X and kind of
It's still
Instagram
Twitter to
under
me.
Sami Cat Plays.
It's Twitter. It's Twitter. Don't
So
give
if
him
you
the
don't find me-
satisfaction.
Never do that.
If you don't find me with Sami Cat, chances are it's Sami Cat Plays.
Heck yeah. Eseipha, producer Eseipha. What about you?
Mainly on Blue Sky. I still have Twitter, but it's locked type of thing.
Yeah.
I keep it for keeping it type of thing.
Yeah.
But yeah, Blue Sky mainly. I post random stuff, and right now snowstorms. Because that's what we've been having.
Right.
But yeah, that's pretty much all I like. That's where I am mainly, and that's where I respond most. So, Blue Sky on the same name, Eseipha,
Heck
as
yeah.
usual.
And my name's Danfinity. You can find me at danfinity.gg. That is my website. It links everywhere else. Danfinity.gg. Enjoy yourself.
Fancy.
I did the thing this week where I took Twitter off of my off of the row.
Yeah.
And I found the coding so that I could put Blue Sky in that row instead because Squarespace doesn't support it yet. So
Nice.
had to do some finagling, but here we are. Thanks. That's been episode 86 of the Destiny Digest podcast. Thank you all for watching and listening, and I hope you find what you're grinding for.